What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thanks so much for being here with me. Most of you that watch this, unless you've been around like since last year, probably haven't ever seen me without a hat. Kind of funny. So I guess this is my Scorpio energy vulnerability and like kind of revealing that I have a forehead, and it's an Aries rising forehead, and it's pretty large. And I have Saturn square my ascendant, and you know what? Ever since my Saturn return, my forehead's gotten bigger because my hair's gone back further. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to have the mane, but I'm going to keep it as long as I can until it's completely unacceptable. And yeah, some disclosure on myself for this Tuesday. You know what? I hope with this Mars-Mercury coming together in Scorpio, this Sun in Scorpio, that you can appreciate that depth of vulnerability to show my forehead. And if not, I hope you laughed at least. Let's look at the astrology. That's what you came here for, not my nonsense. Feeling a little silly tonight, which is good. I'll be honest, I've been feeling a little like heavy lately. So it's been a really good release to joke and kind of have fun again. So I hope that you're feeling maybe some of that as well, and maybe it's not just me. Sun at 8. It's making a net 8. That's 17 degrees of Scorpio. It's definitely a day of dedicating to our passions, dedicating to strong boundaries, especially as it is starting to approach this trine to Neptune. You know, we live in such an interesting reality where we have this unbound creative potential, but we also, have to draw boundaries to unlock that potential. So this is an interesting mix between Scorpio, which is about kind of setting a strong energetic boundary and drawing certain lines in life for what you really deeply want and desire. And then Neptune, which is this desire to kind of experience all things and have all things come together. And I would say that, maybe today's dedicating to the highest version of yourself spiritually, the most, I guess you could say, dedicating to your beauty and that unconditional love for yourself to draw strong boundaries. So instead of just being wide open, be wide open to how much you can love yourself and dedicate to that self-love and the certain aspects that you can create in your life by having a strong, healthy boundary energetically. And especially with Mars and Mercury coming together in Scorpio at 6 degrees, I mean, we're all kind of looking for that deep beauty, and we're all looking at like how we can make moves fast right now. So it feels like, wow, we can do things quick, fast, and in a hurry to maybe have a better understanding of ourselves, a better understanding of different areas of life that we really do want to penetrate into, or being able to make good decisions, hopefully, about where we need to cut things off because we're not getting the return that we're looking for. And I think that that's a big one with Mars and Mercury getting ready to square Saturn tomorrow. Is like this energy is pretty intense today with this conjunction square Saturn. And, Mars is strong here in Scorpio, Saturn's strong in Aquarius. They're the two malefic planets. We do want to get serious. Like, I think we can make pretty amazing, assertive decisions for ourselves and who we really are on the deepest of levels so that can kind of come out and show itself in a positive manner. But there's also this, like, the stoplight that we're at in life right now. And what does that stoplight mean? It can come in so many different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that just a block will show up at like in your life, but like, where are we maybe blocking ourselves from our own passions? Where do we maybe need to take more authority and dedicate to our deeper truths, to the most authentic and real version of ourselves, about how we really feel on the inside, instead of suppressing that, like really figuring out ways to push those boundaries so that we can create more and that we can merge and that we can connect on a deeper level, that we can connect to, really positive tribe energy. But I mean, I would say too, like, we have to be aware of like a day like today and tomorrow with this square to Saturn is where we're getting, met with complete resistance in life. Maybe that's the area that needs the biggest pivot. And instead of just forcing our way through certain aspects that we maybe aren't passionate about or don't have a deep connection with or don't hold to our truth, or just your individual truth, right? Like, not even ours, like your individual truth. maybe that's where the quick decision and the pivot can be the most beneficial and could bring the most beauty into your life, the most deep sense of self on a day like this. So I think we're dedicating to, strong boundaries of our deepest dedications and our deepest desires. And we just want to be mindful of where blocks are. If there's blocks showing up, they're showing up for a reason to make a change, a reason to pivot, a reason to, disconnect even with a Saturn in Aquarius so that you can come into full connection somewhere else. And like, it's all about boundaries, and it can be boundaries with people, friends, relationships. I mean, personally, I've had to draw a couple boundaries just this week and last week with relationships in life. Like, this Scorpio season's no joke. I think this is really taking boundaries to the next level, like big time, especially with Mars there. Like, got to know our boundary, got to know what we really want, and if we're not getting what we really want, we're not going to penetrate into that part of life anymore, into that realm of existence. Like, there's another unseen place that we can be fearless and kind of go for because we know that deeper essence of ourselves. And hopefully have a better understanding of ourselves at this point. I think Mercury, Mars coming together is like a really positive time to know thyself on a deep level, especially in Scorpio. We're going to see that moon finishing up in Capricorn, and it's going to be with Pluto today. And it is going to start off the day with a sextile to Neptune. So we kind of start off the day in like I would say like a pretty dreamy sort of place, like kind of maybe envisioning or feeling into this dedicated day and how we can kind of get the ball rolling, what we're building, what we can create. And then it conjuncts Pluto, which is the dispositor of all this Scorpio energy. And I mean, I would say that today's one of those days, like if you haven't been kind of dedicating or setting good boundaries or doing the deeper work and maybe just going about life kind of clueless, this would be a day where people could actually, like, there could definitely be arguments. That could be one other thing with a Mercury Mars coming together. Be like strong verbal communication, arguments, and then about like deep vulnerable situations that are surfacing. So I mean, a lot of emotion can come up today. It has sort of that volcanic eruption kind of energy. So we want to be mindful, and maybe that's where we have to draw those boundaries, set those boundaries for ourselves. Like, are we just getting like verbally volcano vomited on by people in our lives and like a big projection? And maybe we have to protect our own energy. Possibilities for sure. You could see a lot of things getting surfaced today, and even in the world, like today could be a day where like a lot just starts showing up, and it's like, oh my God, the revealing of so much that has been hidden. So we could all be hiding things. I hide my head every day on these horoscopes, and here we are on this day, and I'm like, I'm going to reveal this. And the moon's our personal life too, so it's a lot of things in our own personal life that are getting revealed, again, about to show us how to dedicate to the proper boundaries for a higher spiritual self, where you're at, vibration-wise, and, keeping that so that you can vibrate higher, so that you can feel more love, so that you can open up the doors to the strongest path, the strongest dedication that feels right to you, and not repress. If people have been repressing emotion, today's blowing the top on it. So, hey, the emotion has to be felt sometime, especially a moon in Capricorn. It can want to keep that on the low, but that's a highly emotional moon. It just won't show it. And Pluto's like, oh, it's there. Trust me, it's there. Venus is at 4 degrees, and it's really sextiling Mars, sextiling Mercury still, and it's going to keep getting closer to Mars. So we really are in this long, drawn-out Mars-Venus sextile in Scorpio and Cap, and beautiful energy. It's almost going to miss though, so it's almost like we can be putting our energy into this dedicated path that's like just going to miss. So we do want to be like pretty discerning, I think, about what we really want. We're going to see Venus retrograde on Pluto. We're seeing a Pluto return for United States. We can get really caught up on the material things that we want right now. And there's just no certainty that material thing that we desire right now in this physical world, in this realm that we inhabit in this time and space, there's absolutely no certainty that that's going to be there in the future. And that's just the truth of the matter. So I think that we can have some fun with our creations. We can kind of like make a bunch of different things happen. If certain areas aren't happening the way you just want them to look, like it's okay. Like put your energy into what you really like, what you really desire, and see what happens. And if you're getting blocks, if you're getting, if it's not making you feel emotionally satisfied or it makes you feel like you're just going to explode, like this is that day where it's like, the universe is like, it's obvious. Take the hint. So if you're really shooting for something right now and you're not kind of seeing that it's going to show up over time, or it doesn't make you happy, it doesn't make you feel good, maybe that's part of the sign today, just to be real honest with y'all. But other than that, very lopsided chart. There's not a whole lot going on the other side of the zodiac right now. So I mean, we could feel a little imbalanced. We could feel like we're just putting so much out into the world. And I think it's important to also remember, our personal aspects and draw those personal boundaries and take care of ourselves and do the things that make us happy. Pretty important, deal with our personal stuff and don't focus too much, I guess, on maybe some of the darker aspects in the world. Although I do think, as always, it's important to have the awareness of things that are going on. And there's a lot of very strange things going on in our reality right now. We're seeing Jupiter, which is at 23 degrees now in Aquarius, like starting to pick up the pace. So, Jupiter here is definitely trying to show us more of the future. We've had to reevaluate some of it. And, he's on the approach to Pisces. So we're kind of putting the final dab on this kind of expansion of connection and what doors can open up and what we can channel. So, I would say like our channel is getting very, very strong today about what we can figure out and what we can piece together to kind of come to this whole, to come to this kind of epiphany moment. But yeah, aspects are bubbling up a little bit. We can feel that. Pay attention to those things. It's going to help you make big decisions or strong decisions for your personal boundaries, for your goals, for your personal connections, the people in your life, relationships, like a lot of that. It's very important today. Let's see what the old card has to say. Hope you guys don't mind. I was a little sillier today. If you mind, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just gotta come on here and be myself. I try to be myself every day. I'll be honest. But if I'm feeling a little jokey, feeling a little silly, like, why should I hide that? All right. Wow, we got the Magician reversed. I would say that the goal today is to make sure that we're finding our magic and not feeling like we don't have it. I think there's a lot of magic that's trying to show up in our life, but this magic and being able to use all these tools at our disposal, if you will, it really comes down to the boundary and knowing, our worth, knowing our soul capital, knowing the deeper essence of ourself and our desires, and making sure that we're putting our magic into things that are actually sustainable or real and like really long-term stuff. So we kind of have to plan ahead, I think, with our magic, and maybe not just like use all the magic on aspects that, gosh, we don't really know much of anything. Like, we're in such a time of this whole world getting reconstructed, this whole realm's in a reconstructive, time here. And even Scorpio is like, this wrecking ball of energy, and Pluto is this wrecking ball of an energy. So like, don't forget your magic. Don't forget that, yeah, there's aspects of life that are going to start going away. Maybe that involves certain things that we had plans or goals for. But don't forget that you have magic to maybe use this today to create whatever it is that you're ultimately passionate about, or just not lose hope that you have what you need, and that you're dedicating to what you can really bring to life and create. It's a creation day. We're dedicating to our unbound creative potential, and we don't want to, feel like we lost it. We didn't lose it. Why'd we get that? 3 of Wands. Because if we find our magic, there's a whole vast, abundant world out there for us. And we just have to believe, we have to have faith, we have to know ourselves, we have to get down to the deepest nooks and crannies. And I think that today's exposing those deep, deep emotions, those deep feelings, and showing where blocks are at, where we're suppressing ourselves from our magic, so that we can kind of go off and create fearlessly and have a good time while we do it, and see that there is still expanse in this universe and everything isn't completely restricted, although sometimes it does feel that way. But we're powerful creators, and we got to remember that. So let's create this wide open world from the heart, and remember our magic. Don't forget your magic today. Even if it gets intense and you have to deal with deep emotion, don't let it take you out of your magic, because today has that energy as well of, like, a lot can surface. A lot has that volcanic energy. Feel them, don't suppress them, and use your magic today. I love you all so much. I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. Much love. Peace.